everybody.
It's dark in here.
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? I should have been like got myself together, but child, hold on. I'm gonna back up people just to turn on my lights because it's dark in here. Wait, wrong light. There we go. There we go. You like my shirt? You see what I got on there?
I see that. What's it? Melanin popping something made.
Made
with
always popping, honey.
Yeah, and it's yellow like popcorn. I hear you.
Pop, pop, pop. You know, we pop around here, the melanin.
That's what. Sorry, y'all. So I gotta try to get my life right so we could actually start the show at 5:30 like we supposed to. But you know, the best laid plans. I tell you, the best laid plans.
Ain't it though?
It's gonna be working out sometimes. So I gotta I don't want y'all blaming my co-host. This is all on me.
Oh no, child.
Let me tell you plans. I tell you.
Ooh, the summer was
I be trying. But people who knew me like in college, they know that I'm a whole lot better because I was horrible with time. So for me, I'm doing good. But for the people, I still got room for improvement.
Let me tell you, when you told me the story about how you travel, I was like,
I travel.
Listen, because you're gonna be.
No, listen. So my friends who travel with me, either they come and pick me up, right?
Right.
Or they be on me, right? And still, I end up being the last person on the boat for the cruise. And I don't mean the last person with my group on the boat. I literally mean the last person getting on the boat, okay?
Traveling and running to the plane, running to the
seat. Listen, I had to get dropped off by Uber, and the people looking at me like they about to like pull the ramp or whatever that thing is. And they're like, girl, yes, the last person on the boat. That was all prior pandemic. I'm trying to do better. I am doing better, but I still got room for improvement. I got room for improvement. My apologies.
I think we all have room for improvement. All of
I just be having, sometimes I try to do too much,
But isn't that always the plight of the Black woman? We always try to do.
And then so my new drama this week is that my kid is in camp in Miami, and that don't help. Because I'm used to like sitting in my house. So if I'm late, I'm gonna just be a few minutes late. But now I'm like hustling in Miami traffic late in the afternoon, and then but that's just this week. So to another week, we'll see what happens.
We all have room for improvement. But before we get into like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
I have like, share, and subscribe. I did post on our Facebook page a link to all the legislation that has been in effect as of July 1st. So you have a whole list there. You can go straight to the Florida legislator. The bills are in order. Go take a look. It's about 150 of them, but I'm telling you, if you see the label of what they are labeled as, you may want to look into that. Okay. Legislation out here being signed and put into law up under our noses. We have no idea, but these legislation affect our everyday lives. So I strongly suggest you all take a look at it. Anything that pops out at you, click on it and read it, because if it does affect you in some kind of way, you want to be able to be up and up on the law. So, but we'll highlight.
I have to tell you, not to cut Narnique off or anything like that. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So because we didn't know the nonsense was a law, then it's not an excuse. It's not a defense or anything like that. Right. However, so some of the things that the governor signed that's effective July the 1st may be unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. Right. So just because he signed it and made it a law because he liked it, don't necessarily mean it's right. Okay. Or it's constitutional. Well, right is that it's constitutional. So, folks may have to position themselves to challenge some of the things that he's put on the books because, they ain't right.
Some of the stuff is just straight up ludicrous.
I mean, some of the stuff is already being litigated. I know League of Women Voters are doing some stuff. Yes. NAACP is doing some stuff. Like some of the gay caucus, they're dealing with the Don't Say Gay legislation and that type of thing. So some of it is already in litigation, but the obscure things that most of us that didn't get a chance to be made popular or in the forefront that we may be held accountable to if we may find ourselves in a situation where we're running afoul of the law and you think it ain't right, then we need to really position ourselves and don't be scared, to not, to fight things that you don't think is right, because there's a lot of great organization, American Civil Liberties Union, there's other groups that's willing not to take on some of these issues, and they need, they need defendants, they need people who are affected by it, injured parties that are affected by the law in order for them to go ahead and do representation. So some of the stuff, if you find yourself in a situation where you're impacted, you may, be like I'm not going to call you no test case, but you might be, the named defendant, in a class action or something.
And wrong with being a test case now if it helps protect other people. And there's nothing. And then the irony of it all is that these so-called laws, these so-called legislation, these so-called bills are supposed to be there to protect the people. But it isn't. It's many of those that pass that are currently in litigation is an infringement, especially to people of color. Black people are the ones struggling with this. Like the one with the bill that talked with the music being loud. That bill is called, and I'm literally like shocked that this was even.
So there's always been like a noise ordinance. Like most places, most cities, most places have noise ordinances, right? Where you can't play your music at a certain level. But it's usually time restricted, right? So sometimes it's like after 9 p.m., after 11 p.m., or something like that. So there's always been noise, nuisances, ordinances that affects noise. But I think this governor took it a little further and kind of shortened how close. And if the police officer hear you playing it in your car, mind you, your car is a moving thing. So it's not like you're at your house having a loud party after 11 p.m. and all your neighbors are trying to sleep, right? It's like you in your car and you driving by and you might pass somebody for 10 seconds. I mean, are you really infringing on that right to quiet enjoyment?
I think the most offensive thing about this legislation for me is because you remember the young man named Jordan that was shot and killed because his music was loud.
That's what the man said.
And I think now his mother is a state representative or house
out of Georgia, yes,
out of Georgia now or whatever. But to me, that's the most offensive part of it. It's because you already have issues where that is concerned. Instead of making laws to help mitigate it and not really kind of cause any extra issues, you make it more like you make it become this cumbersome, uncomfortable. Like it becomes volatile for no reason.
So it's like you giving people one more reason to mess with folks, right? And what we need to do is have less reasons to mess with folks. But yeah, it's just one more reason. That's like a small reason, right? Like a misdemeanor small reason. That's probably just a citation. Right. You're giving law enforcement or whoever one more reason to mess with folks. And what we know is that they need less reasons to mess with folks, right? Particularly when we saw that this whole traffic situation with that young man that was shot, that was hit 60 times, over something that's like those cops, somebody should just be like, you know what? We got bigger things to deal with. We just going to leave this alone, right? But now they're creating more small reasons for law enforcement to come into contact with folks. And then we can find ourselves in, having to hear about and terrible cases and family members having to lose loved ones over things that are real small. So to me, yeah, it's just another reason to go bother communities of color.
And
because there is discretion, right? So a cop can see a person of a different persuasion and choose not to do nothing about it. And then, so they can bother.
The shooter out in Chicago, came in July 4th and shot and killed people.
Yeah, they said he was dressed like a girl.
I don't give a damn if he was sorry. My thing is that you have a whole group of people, by and large, that research shows they give a demographic. The FBI gives a demographic of school shooters, white males who come in and even in crowded areas and shoot. So those are high lists on the FBI's priorities, and you have those exact men who fit those descriptions and the demographics. Yet still, this person was arrested without incident and was able to be arrested with he didn't get beat down. He wasn't paralyzed from the waist down by being put into a
boot print on the face. I'm not advocating violence, y'all. I'm just saying. Just saying. Y'all know he done killed some people, right? Whereas this young man, all he might have done is violate a traffic law, and he got 60 bullets put in his body. Okay, so
the thing that irritates me is that instead of different states making legislation to alleviate the disparities in this country, to be, have an opportunity to be a leader, Florida, Texas, all those other states, to be leaders into trying to be as equitable, trying to make sure that everybody is seen as equals, they instead, by and large, pervasively prevent Black people, people of color, anybody who ain't white, to be always in a position of
terror.
Always. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. So I think after, this was another traffic stop where the man was shot in the back of his head by the police officer. I think that jurisdiction had tried to say, okay, listen, you know what? We ain't finna let police officers stop people on these minor things anymore because, this ain't adding up. The police, unions and all of that lost their minds. They're like, well, if we're not able to give people tickets and stop folks, then what are we going to be able to do? We can't do anything. We can stop major crime and all this nonsense. It's like, no, y'all probably got a whole bunch of cold cases that y'all can spend your time on trying to solve than to be pulling people over because they got refreshers in their rear view mirror, or they don't got the light in the back of their license plate, or they ran a stop sign and ain't caused no accident. You know what I mean? Y'all could. I'm sure y'all got plenty work to do, and especially in South Florida, for instance. I mean, that's the last thing they should be worried about. Y'all got a whole bunch of stuff y'all can be worried about. Then this
bunch of Proud Boys, pockets of Proud Boys, and the like, who need investigation, who need y'all to bust up
stuff y'all can do instead of bothering people.
Whatever. And then the worst part about it is we spoke earlier, and I was telling you that the ones that they should be paying attention to and putting all their energy are their own, and then their own is like if we kill white people in the process, that's just collateral damage. That's what we're doing. They don't care. Y'all worried about the wrong people.
For real.
Black people don't have the time. And not even if we did have the time, we would not be wasting it on trying to get even with y'all. We don't, that's not how we operate.
People in survival mode, sir, ma'ams, whoever you are. Y'all need to be worried about y'all kids.
Worry about your children.
You worry about your kids. Because imagine, so they said that law enforcement had gone to this what's his name? Rico, whatever his name is. What's his last name?
The July 4th Chicago.
Yeah, it's not Chicago. Don't be dissing Chicago. It was a suburb. It happened in a suburb, and that's another thing that we need to. I think they really should talk about is this happened in a suburb where people thought they were safe, right? So they trying to make it seem like it's part of the normal Chicago violence. No, this happened in a suburb, so where people thought they were safe.
Illinois, 4th of July shooting in Illinois. Then we'll do that.
Happened in a suburb where people thought they were safe and they could go to this 4th of July thing without incident. And it turned out to not be true. But the young man who's responsible for and I shouldn't call him a young man, so the domestic terrorist who shot all of these people,
exactly.
His family had called the police on him because he had threatened to kill them before, right? Woo. And the police went to his house. They took 16 knives, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 10, not 12, 16 knives from him, and chose not to charge him with any offense. Okay, they charged him with nothing. Had they done that, he would have been they would have been, how they have some red flag laws. He would not have been he would not have been able to purchase those weapons. And even if he did purchase those weapons, he would have at least been on alert. They would have had to look into him just a little bit more had he been held responsible and dealt with the consequences that most folks of color would deal with if they had not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, not 12, but 16 knives, and we threatened to kill all the people in our family.
Well, can I tell you that the shooter for
we got charged with something.
Can I tell you that the shooter for the MSD shooting in Parkland, Florida, they went to his house several times too? Like, to me, it's just like, y'all
call the FBI on him.
Y'all just, to me, it's just like they be worried about the wrong people, and then because they're so focused on us, right? Because they're so focused on us and what we doing, y'all let a whole generation.
I don't know, but is it focused or they scared of us because of our complexion? We ain't even thinking about them.
Well, my thing is that you focus on
real people.
They focus on the wrong thing because you don't allow a whole generation to be curated and created, and they out here wreaking havoc. Out here wreaking havoc
on their own folks,
on their own peoples,
other people too. Like they mess. Not only are they messing with just black people, they out here messing with y'all too. Left a 2-year-old an orphan, killed both of his parents.
And y'all went to the man's house and took 16 knives.
Yes,
but to left him there. So now he created this whole mess in 4th of July and done left the child orphaned. But you worried about black people, okay?
Violating traffic laws.
Okay.
Not even committing like nothing close to what we're seeing. Okay. Just violating traffic laws.
Just so y'all know, all of this we're saying leads to why it's important that you are all at the ballot box.
Yep.
I think
for the right candidates.
Vote for the right candidates, but I think people think we're our people, that is. I'm directing this to our people. I want you all to understand how important you all are voting. Like, I'm telling you, if you were not important, they wouldn't be doing their darnest to make sure that you are not interested in voting. Everything they put out there to make it look like your vote don't matter. Y'all are sitting there thinking, well, that's what it is. No, it's not. Because the minute we unleash the whole black hole and every single black person's come out and vote or whatever, trust me.
Let's talk about. So remember we were talking about how. Okay, so I hear what you said, but I'm gonna digress for a minute, right? Because one of the things we talked about earlier, you were saying how the way the news cover stories, just how they cover stories, is an issue. So I don't know if y'all could see this. Okay, you see this picture here?
Yes.
So I was trying to get the name of the July 4th shooter, right? And this is the picture that came up. This is not the guy who did this, right? Y'all can see it?
Put it right there.
Right? Oh, wait. No, that could no, because it went dark. Sorry, my screen went dark.
Yeah.
This is what it shows. That's not the guy who did that. But his face is coming up on an NPR story. This brother who ain't got nothing to do with nothing, who very well could be a victim himself.
Could be minding his own business.
Minding his own business, or is possibly a victim in the face of a story on NPR. This is extremely misleading. And this is part of the problem. This is part of the problem.
And what
that's not what the shooter looks like.
And this is not the first time that we've had something that comes out where you have either a different black person, not a completely a black person being represented as a white person. This is not the first time. This has always been done with black people. As a matter of fact, it's very rare you see they make a mistake with a picture with a white person who's done a crime. Very rare. And if it does happen, the person resembles the other person so much so that they have to say, oh, yes, they do resemble people, but they've done different crimes. So that's one of the issues that bothers me, because when I was talking to you earlier about the way that they the media presents information, for instance, when I looked up the Florida legislative laws that,
and let me tell you, so now I put suspect, right? And the brother man face came up again, right? And all of the picture, and then there's a picture of the black police chief. I still can't see. I'm not seeing this guy's face. I saw his face earlier today.
Yes, I did.
Right? I saw his face earlier today. But look at all of these stories. Now I'm searching for the suspect, but I can't see what he looked like right now.
I'm just saying this is nothing new. This is nothing new. And as a matter of fact, the shooter in Illinois that shot those people and killed them.
Okay, this is what he actually looks like. So I scroll down. This is what he looks like.
That's him. 22-year-old.
So if my son starts looking like this, I got questions.
I'm just just saying. And then the other thing too is that I think what bothers me the most about these domestic terrorists is that the parents act as if they did. Oh my goodness, we didn't know he was doing that. No, this kid has been showing signs for months, maybe even years.
To do that, that ain't like, well, okay, you know what? I'm about to go shoot all these people on 4th of July. And we hear the reports. They said they've been plotting it for weeks, months, however long. So it's never like I woke up this morning and I decided I'm gonna go and shoot up the parade. Because they gotta, get the guns, get the bullets, get all this stuff, figure out where they're gonna do it at.
These individuals show signs way ahead of time. And whoever's responsible for them, or who is under who they're under the care of or whatever, that is your responsibility. And the funny thing is that anytime a Black kid does something or a Black person does something or whatever and stuff like that, they're quick to come and say, oh, well, the neighborhood he came from, and look at his mama, he got like 6 kids, she got like 6 kids, and he got a whole bunch of babies, or she out here with 6. Everything they have, they come for us.
But also acknowledge that if the parents knew they had any involvement, the parents done told somebody and tried to stop it, right? You remember, so this was after like the shoe bomber and all of that stuff, when all those terrorist people was doing things. There was a I think he was like Nigerian, but there was an African young man who was trying to do something on Christmas. He was trying to do some sort of attack or whatever. His daddy found out about it, and his daddy told on him. His daddy told on him, like, yo, my son done gone crazy. He talking about doing whatever. Because he's like, I don't want none of this happening, and I didn't do anything to stop it.
Mm-hmm. So he sure did call him and told him to come pick his ass up. He sure did. He was
like, listen, this boy been listening to Osama or whoever. You know what I mean? He's talking some crazy stuff. Y'all need to shut this down. His daddy told on him.
Come and get him. His daddy was like, come and get him.
His daddy told on him. So,
listen, my thing is that those individuals always show signs way ahead of time.
Or at least that somebody need to go talk to them and see what's up. Or at least they need a life coach or somebody with them at all times. Like, you don't get to go nowhere by yourself, sir. At all.
People will sit there, white women and white men will come and look at and see the news and see this and was like, oh my goodness, our country is this, that, the other, whatever. It's like, y'all part of the problem.
Yeah, them people coming out your house.
Y'all part of the problem.
Coming out your house.
Before pre-COVID, when my kids used to have friends come over or whatever, child, they get the 3rd degree. What you do? What your mama do? Well, how's school going? I mean, like, you got to know your kids' people. Like, you got to know who they're hanging out with.
And when we talked about the Buffalo shooter before, like my kid ain't gonna be driving 4 hours away nowhere, and I ain't know that happened. I'm gonna know that happened.
You not
all day. What you doing? You at work? What you doing? Like, talk to me. I'm gonna holler at you, bro. Getting tickets.
I just and then
no explanation.
Listen, let me tell you something. The most busiest of Black parents, Black moms, Black dads, or whatever, even though they may have 2 and 3 jobs, they still checking with their kids.
Something slip, but not know I'm about to go shoot up the parade. That ain't slipping. You might not pay attention to the grades. They might have gotten, by the time you realize they're about to get a C in a class or a D or something. Because that doesn't happen. Because I asked the kid, yo, you doing your work? Yeah. You doing your work? Yeah. You doing your work? Yeah. Right. I ain't double check. You know what I mean? And so by the time I realize, I'll be like, no, print them daggone grades on Pinnacle for me. And let me see. Now that stuff might happen, but nah, bruh, not finna get all slim, tattooed on the face, walking out my house dressed like no chick, with guns getting delivered to my crib and bullets and all that, and I don't have no understanding. That ain't gonna slip past me.
No, being secretive and watching, and then when I come in, you want to shut things down. No, sir.
And again, I'm not saying all things can't happen, but them kind of things, I don't know, boy.
Things as disturbing as what has been going on with these white young men coming in and shooting places or whatever, there's no way you didn't pick up and see that
something was going on. You needed to go talk to somebody.
And I feel like parents can always feel when something shifts with their kids, like they can feel it. And my thing is go with your instincts. If you feel like something is shifting with your child, make sure you go over there.
Where we going? Who you going with? Somebody got to go with you. That boy would not have been able to go nowhere by himself.
I don't get it. I wouldn't
been able to go nowhere by himself. I don't care. You 21, 22. You can't be living with me then.
I know you're right.
I'm telling you now, if that happened, they ain't in my crib.
Goodbye.
They're not living with me before. It's not because after you about to do time, so ain't no you for sure not living with me then.
Oh yeah. No, before
that, no, you ain't living with me.
Before. So when you were talking about the misrepresentation of media, when I was looking up the legislative information for those bills that became into law July 1st, I looked at two different
counties, right?
Yeah, two different counties, two articles from two different counties from two different publications. One publication is out of Palm Beach, the other publication is out of Miami. The wording that they use for each of these, or for some of these more popular, more I would say not popular, but the more offensive type bills is there's a stark difference. Like for instance, the "Don't Say Gay" bill in Broward and Miami-Dade, we say "Don't Say Gay" bill, and in that Palm Beach publication, they named it. Hold on, let me look and make sure I say the right word now.
Is that what DeSantis called it?
Well, yes, that's what DeSantis calls it. So
what
DeSantis calls it the
he gave it a whole nice name
for the abortion, the abortion ban at 15 weeks. It says reducing fetal and infant mortality bill. Right, that's what they name it. Okay. That's what it's called in this publication. While we call it an abortion ban.
Reducing fetal and infant mortality.
That's what it's called.
You would think that that's a program about giving people prenatal care, right? Making sure they get their vitamins and they get to see the doctor, and of course the cost isn't too exorbitant. That's what you would think that that's talking about, right? It's to make sure everybody can go to the clinic, go see the doctor, make sure they get their checkups, they get their vitamin, their iron levels are correct. That's what that sounds like.
But that's the abortion ban at 15 weeks. The woke act that we talk about here in Broward and Dade County, it's called
people's feelings. They legislating feelings. That one.
Yeah. So this is called the I'm sorry. No, the "Don't Say Gay" bill is called parental rights in education. That's what that's called here.
Oh, so what that mean? What he trying to tell us that's really about?
So
what kind of rights the parents got?
It says schools must adopt procedures that notify parents of specific information affecting well-being of students. The bill also prohibits school discussions about sexual orientation and or gender identity.
Wait, so what is it that the school got to notify the parents about?
It does what I just read to you.
So like if my kid has a teacher that presents gay, the school got to tell me that my kid's science teacher might be gay?
Is broad, and what I said was it says schools must adopt procedures that notify parents of specific information affecting the well-being of their students. Well-being of their students is so doggone broad.
Could that be affecting if one of the teachers want to come in rainbow down? And so they may be like, that's affecting the well-being of a student, so they got to notify the parents that we have
that bill here in Broward and Dade is called the "Don't Say Gay" bill, and that bill in Palm Beach somewhere is called parental rights education.
Well, does that mean the teacher can't put their partner or their spouse's picture on their desk if they're a same-sex couple?
Apparently, that's an issue. Apparently,
could that possibly something that they need to notify parents about?
If we go along the lines, I hate to say it, but yes. There's another bill, HB 7. So that bill is called what is HB 7 called here in Broward? HB 7 is called something else over here.
I'm just saying that because those are the kind of things that some administrator may determine that they need to notify parents about. Teacher going to work minding their own business. And
so HB 7 is really the woke bill. So it's called individual freedom.
Who's freedom? Who individual freedom? Black people freedom?
So it says the law states subjugating individuals to specified concepts under certain circumstances constitutes discrimination based on race, color, sex, or national origin, and revise the curriculum structure of certain requirements for history instruction on African American studies.
Okay. Say what now? Revising what they said about the African Americans?
They said and revises the curriculum structure of certain requirements of history instruction on African Americans.
But how did that one start about you can't do something?
This law states that subjugating individuals.
I'm not an individual. Am my African American, Haitian, Bahamian, whatever self is not considered an individual? I'm an individual too. So what if I want to understand, African American history?
The law says
I'm an individual though. It don't include me.
The law says, and I repeat, because apparently it don't include me or you.
It doesn't include me as an individual. I thought I was an individual too.
No.
I'm not an individual in the woke bill.
Don't apply to you. Let me tell you who it applies to. It says subjugating individuals to specified concepts.
But I'm an individual that could be subjugated to specified content too.
I'm just telling you what the law says. Okay.
Oh, what's the last part of that? What it said. So apparently we're not specified individuals subject to content.
So it's concepts.
I'm not an individual subjected to specified content.
No, you're not an individual that's specified concepts under certain circumstances constitutes discrimination. Okay, based on race, color, sex, or national origin.
It's not discrimination not to tell me about what I need to know to.
No,
and it's not discrimination to not include me as one of those individuals y'all talking about.
What's wrong with you? What part of don't you get that?
It's like a whole bunch of words getting new definitions now, and I ain't. Don't come for me. But I need to know what's a new definition of individuals now. So I think that's a new word I need somebody to explain to me.
And it also says that the law revises the curriculum structure of certain requirements for history instruction on African Americans.
Also, what Texas trying to say the slaves were? Like some kind of visit? What is
Texas said Texas is trying to change their curriculums to remove the words enslaved. So
they call them what?
That they were what did I say? They said they were. Did I text you that? You frozen.
I don't remember.
It was something to the effect of you were taking against your will to work or something to that effect. It was something to
that would be human trafficking. I don't think they would want to say that either.
It was something about forced. What did they say?
I'm trying to look it up because I thought you had that note because you called me about it.
But I sent you the article.
Oh, involuntary relocation.
Yes, involuntary relocation.
The Africans were involuntarily relocated to the United States.
Yes. So they're trying to. So Texas is now working on legislation to remove enslaved, slavery, all of that, and put down
involuntary relocation.
Mm-hmm. Involuntary relocation workers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying this.
But in terms of the law, anything that's involuntary is problematic anyway, right? So it makes it better. Almost anything in the law when it's involuntary, it ain't okay.
But it makes it more. It's
if a person enters into a plea and to some charge and they weren't fully informed. That's not freely and voluntarily entered into, and it's not accepted by the court. So involuntary stuff in the law ain't okay.
Is more palatable. Is more palatable.
No, it shouldn't be because it's not acceptable. Because
whatever they can do to water down slavery, they're gonna do it. So you have a whole Republican legislator in Texas.
They must think people don't understand what the word involuntary means, because that's still against your will.
My thing is that when you tell a child, let's remove kids from let's remove kids from kindergarten to 5th grade, because let's say that their understanding is not that
my hair frizzy.
Not that clear. But when you tell a teenager or a middle schooler or a high schooler that a group of people were involuntarily relocated to work, not to be slaved or mistreated or beaten or whatever, but to work. You don't think that's going to be more palatable for them to accept?
No, because it's involuntary. Like anytime you're trying to get somebody to do something that they don't want to do, that's a problem.
Of course, it's a problem. We all know that. We all know that. But when you say that you're going to, when you're saying now you're going to take away the word enslaved or slavery and you're going to use involuntary relocation. What is it? Involuntary relocation, voluntary relocated workers. You put workers in there. So now it looks like, okay, yeah, they didn't want to go, but they really working. And you try to, and the curriculum is changed such that where you start to teach it that way or whatever, it becomes palatable.
No, I'm telling you, like, so to me, all this sounds like is they really just think people dumb and stupid, you know, like, period. Because I can't see how you can talk about having somebody involuntarily relocated and there's anything okay with that. There's nothing okay with that.
Well, you have a whole governor.
Kidnapping. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally like kidnapping, right? Because if you involuntarily relocate somebody in the state of Florida, you moving them against their will, you about to get a whole kidnapping charge.
Well, here's the thing. You had the whole governor who stated in a press conference that we are not trying to teach kids indoctrination around here about something that may or may not have happened in the past. When you start using words,
what didn't happen?
Slavery.
What are you trying to say didn't happen?
Say slavery may or may not have happened in the past.
It may or may not have happened.
That's his words. That's not my words. That's his words. This is the governor that's up for re-election. I hope y'all all can hear that. Okay. When you have a governor that
said Nikki Fried or Charlie Crist for governor, who y'all pick one of them?
Pick one. Y'all need to pick one. But I'm telling you, if you have a whole governor of a state that's telling you that slavery may or may not have happened, that's a problem. Okay.
You know, so because we're living in a space where there's absolutely just too much lies for me, right? Like, it's just absolutely just like, and this can't be okay, and this cannot be the way that this country is choosing to continue to press on, right? It can't be really. I can't understand it. Like, for instance, I am watching the January 6th stuff, right?
Thank you, Liz. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you. Liz said she popped in and said hello. Thank you, Liz. We appreciate you. Orthenio Brown, thank you for jumping in. We appreciate y'all coming in and talking to us and letting us know that you're here.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt your co-host. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. So, because like the direction things are going, I'm just like, y'all can't think this is okay. Like, I just can't understand. You know, and when they talk about just some of the things, 45 and the people around him were doing, most of which is criminal. Like, don't even try to act like it ain't. Like, almost all of that was all criminal conduct, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just gonna be like, oh, okay, no, just forget about it. It's okay. And then, we're gonna still put him in a position where he may be able to run and win again in 24. How I can't understand how anybody's okay with that.
What planet do we do that on? What planet?
No, this is not okay.
What planet?
This man said, let the people go in on the cap. Mind you, there were some people who were trying to get in, but they had metal detectors. So if you had a gun on you, you couldn't get through. He said, let the people get through, even though they have guns on, because he know they ain't trying to kill him.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine
he
that?
He said, let them go through with a gun because he know they ain't trying to kill him. And the police are like, but dude,
or let me do you one better. He was like, well, I'm going. And they were like, no, Mr. President, you can't go. He's like, I'm the MF president. I can do what I want. This is what we have. This is what we talk about. And then attack your own workers because you can't get what you want.
Listen, that ain't even so. That's a nice way of saying it. Like, those people were literally protecting him from committing additional crimes that would have really made this a no-brainer about whether or not he should get indicted for something. Okay, that's what they would do. They were saving him from himself.
I just can't. Mr. Neptune, nice to see you again. So you said, let me be devil's advocate, please. People were involuntary forced to vaccinate. Was that okay? Ain't nobody forced.
No, people were not, because listen, I got 3 of my siblings are not vaccinated. So you didn't have to do it. You just had to be willing to deal with the consequences of not doing it.
That's all that it was.
So I have siblings right now that are not vaccinated. They was like, F that, I ain't doing it, whatever. And they did it. And I have one who's a nurse that works in a jail, and she absolutely refused to get vaccinated, and she's not. So they wasn't forcing nobody to do nothing. If you didn't get vaccinated, they gave you an alternative. You have to deal with that alternative.
That's a choice.
Not the same thing.
My 3 older children have not gotten vaccinated. One kid got COVID twice and still refuses to get vaccinated. So it's a choice. And then whatever consequences comes with your job demanding you to do it, that's what it is. But ain't nobody forced you to do it. There's
a whole lot of other jobs out there that's gonna let you work for them without being vaccinated. No. So they didn't force nobody to get vaccinated. They strongly encourage it and said if you didn't, there'd be a consequence.
We appreciate your comments, Mr. Neptune, but those are two entirely different.
Not only are they two different things, you had an option. You ain't have to do it. You just had to be willing to deal with the consequences of not doing it. That's all.
The enslaved didn't
have.
But
in terms of the people who were put on boats that came to the United States, so that's a different story. And then once they got here, there was like, you got to work or die. That's a little bit different.
He said in Florida, thank God, but some states like New York and California, they were involuntary forced.
No, they just didn't want to lose their job, so they chose to do it. So that's not forced. You had an option. The option might not have been one that you preferred. You always have a choice. It might be a tough choice, but it's a choice nonetheless.
It is. It may not be the choice.
I live in New York and or California.
It may not be the choice you want, but it's a choice nonetheless. Let me tell you. The Texas trying to change the law by saying involuntary relocation or whatever, those people didn't have choices.
Let me tell you, and that still ain't okay. Like, I mean, even so, say you want to use that word, if people are paying attention to what that word means, that's still against the person's will, and that's still admitting that you committed a crime, because that's kidnapping. You can't involuntarily relocate nobody.
All day,
nobody, nowhere. You can't even involuntarily relocate the kids that you gave birth to if the daddy says no. You know what I mean? There will be warrants out for your arrest. You know what I'm saying? Involuntary relocation ain't legal.
They don't want their kids to be taken away. So go. That's not what we're doing. That
ain't even legal. They could try to use that word, and that's basically they're thinking people dumb.
It's the thinking that we stupid for me. It really is. It's the legislator who was voted in by the people that think that the people that voted them in was stupid. That's my thing.
Yep,
you see the irony of it all. I voted you in. I trusted you, but you don't think I'm smart enough. So basically,
apparently he know they ain't smart enough because somebody thinking this is a good idea.
Well. This is and people always say, oh, I can't believe this is where we gone. I like one woman I saw on the news the other day was like, oh, I don't even recognize this country or whatever. A white woman. I'm like, you don't recognize your country, you don't recognize your peoples. Like
what's amazing to me is that how they're choosing to believe white people who are clearly lying, and black people could be telling the truth and they're not gonna believe you
at all.
I'm like
at all.
That's what's amazing. You can be telling the truth, have evidence, proof, and they're gonna be like, well, you manufactured that too. Like, you're a black person telling the truth and they don't believe you, but these white people are telling all these lies, and
people
are believing it.
They will take a circumstantial case of a white person over a case with proof and facts and receipts.
No, circumstantial, because circumstantial just mean that you got to make some inferences, so it could be strong. They can take a fabricated case, okay, a fabricated case from white person and give it life and try to do something with it. And that person be telling the truth and it means nothing. Just like, we talked about when Arizona was doing the recount, right?
Right.
And they was out there looking for bamboo in the paper. I was like, so y'all let somebody tell you that there's bamboo in the paper, and y'all about to spend all this time, money, resource, energy, whatever, looking for bamboo in the paper when everybody know that's a whole lot, because ain't no bamboo paper from China came when people were being elected. Because if there was bamboo paper that was being used, the people at the voting place would have known that, this some bamboo paper. This ain't the regular paper that we use when we're doing elections, right? So somebody white can go tell this lie that there's some bamboo in the paper from China to cause a recount that takes months, millions and millions of dollars, and it's okay. And black people out here telling you the whole truth and nothing but, and they're like, you lying, this, that, and the third.
Let's do case in point. So recently it's been revealed that there was a warrant out for the arrest of the woman who accused Emmett Till.
Oh, okay. I thought you was gonna talk about the one who killed a cyclist. They went to her house and still let her go and had to catch her in Chile. But okay, I digress.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, it's just history repeats itself with these white women.
Yo, I mean, they had her. They knew she done killed the girl, and they're like, "I will be back." And she was like, "Oh, y'all just gave me a head start."
Okay,
they had to catch her in Chile. Now they got to try to get her back here.
It's to me, it's just like, so you have a whole there was a whole it revealed there was a whole warrant out for her arrest or whatever the case is, and so a whole child, innocent child, was killed for no reason. Mm-hmm. Okay, his accusers were allowed to be free because there was no evidence or whatever. However they decided.
There was no evidence.
I'm just saying. His killers were never brought to justice.
That's the story. They're sticking to it.
And so I see a lot of people putting out memes on social media and on the media. It's like, we don't care how long it's been. Arrest that heifer and arrest her today.
Her 90-year-old self, how old she is, about 100.
They don't care how old she is. They want her arrested. Okay. And I'm one of those people who is like that petty. Yep. Arrest her, throw her ass in jail. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've arrested old folks that were, that they found out was did some stuff during Nazi Germany or whatever. I think there was a recent case of this dude. He might have been like 93.
I said take her in jail. Her wheelchair and her cane and whatever else she got, and take her behind the jail. Yes, I agree. I don't care how old she is. She need to be arrested today.
Well, my sister, like I said, my sister works in the jail. She said there's a guy there that's like 90 years old.
Not my problem.
So they don't arrest 90-year-olds.
I say arrest her. Neptune said that she didn't get far to Chile. They caught her in Costa Rica.
It was one of those countries. You're right. It was Costa Rica. Okay, I knew it was Chile. It was one of them sea countries in South America. It was Costa Rica. I ain't gonna argue that because you're right. It could be Costa Rica. I knew it was one of those countries in South America.
She that far to Chile, honey. They caught her.
She got caught in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm. Listen. But that's the thing. It's the same one
that she got that far.
But not only that, you remember the one in Miami?
They already had her.
You remember the one in Miami, the one that she stabbed her boyfriend in the neck and killed him in their apartment or whatever?
Oh, she's not getting arrested though. That was self-defense.
Whatever.
The Instagram model.
So that's what we're doing. So we saying
that's exactly what's gonna happen. That girl not going to jail. She's not getting arrested. They don't forgot about that.
Didn't arrest her on the spot. Let her
arrest her never.
And then she out there the day 3 after she done killed this man. She out in the bar drinking.
She doing thirst traps.
I
got on too much clothes. I can't do a thirst trap.
If the roles were reversed and he had killed her, he would be up under the jail. Okay. Mm-hmm. He could have said it was self-defense all doggone day.
He could have had video that was self-defense, and they'd have been like, "Nah, there's parts of the video missing. You were the aggressor before the camera came on."
There was 3 white friends of theirs, all 3 white. They said she has always been the aggressor. He ain't never do nothing to her. I'm just saying that's facts. I'm just saying. So my thing is that you can sit here and give white people all this credence, and black people tell you the truth all day long till they blue in the face. And what do we get? 60 bullets.
Nothing.
We get 60 bullets out of 90. We get shot because we thought that the police officer thought they had a taser, but they shot me instead. We get a knee on our, it's about 9 minutes. What was it? 9 minutes and 20 something seconds. We get that.
9 minutes and 29 seconds. Originally they thought it was 8 minutes and 46, but it turned out to be 9 minutes and 29
we get
seconds.
That. We also get shot and killed while we're sleeping in our bedrooms. We get shot and killed because our door is open and it looks like it's suspicious, but you're supposed to be coming to check up on.
Well, the neighbor. Well, it was supposed to be a welfare check. Oh, but you know what else happened? We could be sitting in our apartments eating ice cream, watching TV, and still lose our life.
And coming to
somebody said that they thought that was their apartment.
I'm just saying. I'm
sitting in your own apartment after work, eating ice cream.
We can bring forth those stories all day long, and we have more. I'm just not giving you everything, but we have more or whatever. And look at the disparities, because you remember the officer that killed that white lady, right? He
got out. He got out.
He did, but he went to jail, right?
He
was convicted, correct?
Yes, he was.
There was no fanfare. There was no like, oh, the police coming in and taking up for him, and oh no, he didn't do nothing wrong. He was doing his job. Ray, or whatever and stuff like that. But then, but he was ushered in straight, no problems. right? But white police officers out here murdering people on purpose. Yes, I'm using that word.
On their day off.
On their day off.
Volunteering to come to work on their day off.
And murder people on purpose.
And murder somebody. And we could say murder because he was convicted.
Murdered the man in broad daylight on purpose.
Also, Anna says that the Golden State Killer was arrested at 75 after DNA because the technology wasn't there before.
Yep, he sure was. He sure was. That's why I said pick her behind up at 90. I don't care how frail she is. Pick her ass up. Pick her up. And if she can't make it through trial, that's just too bad, so sad, too bad. She's had 90 years being free.
She got to live her whole life.
Her whole life. Had babies, had families, grandkids, or whatever, and she killed off Emmett Till's whole generation. His whole lineage was killed off that frame. So pick her up.
Yeah, because I think he was his mom's only child.
Pick her up. That's what I say. Pick her up. Because them hazel eyes babies we could have had a whole lineage of Emmett Tills. Okay, but she done took all that away. Pick her up. Pick her up. And by all means, if there's a warrant out for her arrest that was sitting there hiding up on the paperwork, she needs to get picked up. I don't care how old she is. Pick her up. Pick her up. Because we can't get him back. So pick her up. And with a quickness. As soon as you can. Okay? Immediately, if not before.
Don't stop.
Pick her ass up.
Pass go. Don't collect $200.
And I think any white person who has done any kind of harm to a black person based on a lie need to get their ass picked up too.
Boy, it's a lot of A words being thrown around today.
I'm
Somebody
sorry.
Mad.
I'm so annoyed. I'm hot. I'm so upset. I'm hot. I don't understand how you have a whole warrant out for her arrest knowing that she was lying. That means that you knew she was lying. You knew she was lying.
It was a whole cover-up. It was a whole cover-up by all of them, the sheriff's department, the coroner, all of that. It was a whole cover-up by all those people involved.
I keep saying this all the time. I probably shouldn't say it right now or whatever, but this country really has. This country is not, they boast about being the greatest country in the world.
It's great for about certain things. It's definitely great when it comes to certain things because there's opportunities that exist here that doesn't exist in other parts of the world.
At what cost?
And that's for sure. I mean, hey, you got to pick your poison. So
I guess
decide what you want. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess. Anywho,
but there are some very great things about this place.
I mean,
my parents came here for opportunities for their children, and we met. And we did all right. I mean, that sacrifice they made was worth it. So
my parents came too, and I benefited.
I'm an immigrant all day. My parents are immigrants, and they came here for certain successes for their kids, and we did good. So I ain't mad.
I can't say I didn't benefit. I did, but child, this is the trade-off for me.
Yeah, I don't think people should get shot 60 times for a possible traffic violation.
People should get shot 60 times. I don't think people get shot in their homes minding their business. I don't think people should get shot when they call for help, but instead get a bullet. I don't think none of that should happen.
And I don't think my pretty black skin should be that much of a threat to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Well, it shouldn't. Like y'all should, like what you said. I'm so cool. Usually you shouldn't have to say you cool because people should just recognize you cool. But unfortunately, because people just looking at my complexion, they ain't even they don't see me. They don't see nothing past that. If they took some chances and took an opportunity and looked past that complexion, I'm cool for real though. I'm not. I got a lot of other characteristics, but please don't just stop at the beautiful brownness.
They know that we cool. That's the thing is they know that they cool.
All that. Oh, that's right. Because they be appropriating. They be appropriating the culture all the time.
They culture vultures. Culture vultures.
Okay.
They know
we cool. So the other thing they said about this July 4th guy was that they were trying to call him a rapper. I'm like, all the things you could have said about that boy, you want to talk about him being a rapper because you're trying to associate him with what, right? That's that other stuff where just the media itself and the news and the way they report, they also continuing to, because people are gonna think when you think of rap, you just think of black people, because black people did start rap. You know what I'm saying? Get that right.
Black people started everything, and y'all sitting here taking
rap for sure. right? Because I had the Rappers Delight album, Who You Want to Give Credit, then Run DMC, Rappers Delight, whatever. They started rap, and then they're going to throw this rap in there to make it seem it was like black people made him do this. No, we did not, And rap culture didn't make him do that either. He has some other problems going on.
My thing is that y'all need to stop using rap as some sort of crutch to make it look like that's the correlation between violent behavior or whatever. Because white kids in the
those domestic terrorists,
those domestic terrorists or whatever, they don't listen to rap.
Even if they do, rap ain't the reason why they doing that. And black people, they got other problems.
So
y'all trying to make him out to be a rapper.
We said all this to say. We said all this to say this. Listen, this is an midterm elections going on right now. You have Val Demings running for senator.
He's running against Marco Rubio. Y'all need to vote for her, please. Y'all need to vote for her because Marco Rubio.
You have two Democrats. Well, one really fully Democrat, one who think he may be or he may not be, depending on what time or how he feel about it. They're running for office too against the governor.
Is that shade?
It is.
Oh, that's just a little shade.
It's shade facts because they both be together. Shade and facts.
But either one of them over who we have now. Okay,
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. So Charlie Chris,
Reed,
she's doing a lot of good work, particularly since these men out here in these streets trying to tell women what to do with their bodies.
Hey, 55.
Y'all may want to put somebody in there who's who know what it's like for somebody to try to control their body. Right, okay. Y'all may just want to do that. Make sure there's a female in there that ain't gonna be trying to tell you what you can do with your body.
So Charlie Chris is pro-life,
but Charlie Chris don't understand.
But
he could understand, but
he's pro-life, and
he got to hear that from somebody else.
And don't get it twisted. Pro-choice is pro-life too, so don't get it twisted. Don't be letting people think you.
Because you could choose. You could choose to have your daddy's kid if you want to.
Whatever you want to.
Somebody don't want to have their daddy's baby, you shouldn't make them.
This is all I'm saying. Listen,
that's all I'm saying.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because the 55% back in 2016 that thought that 45 was a good choice. Because you was all about, thing or whatever. You all need to go ahead and huddle up, ladies.
Okay, so that was an experiment that went wrong, right? That was an experiment that went wrong. So I don't really want to give him no pass. That was an experiment that went wrong. I mean, there was a lot of evidence that they should not have bought into the stuff that he was saying, but it was an experiment that went wrong.
You gonna give him a pass? You gonna give him a pass?
I'm not giving him no pass at all. But I'm just saying what I am saying though is that now you have enough proof that was all wrong all day, every day. And so there's no way on this earth you should support anybody that he supports, right? The minute he step himself right next to that person, you should know that ain't the person you should vote for, right? Because you already know that is a spoiled apple and it's it's a rotten bunch, like one apple spoils the bunch or whatever it is.
Yes.
That is a spoiled apple and he is rotten to the core and it's going to mess up everything else. So you don't want none of that. So if he go up there and say, oh, I'm supporting this person, that means don't vote for that person. That's what he should become. And the reason why I'm talking about it being a failed experiment, like I remember every now and then I'm watching TV at 3:00 in the morning and some infomercial come on, right? And the product sounds good, right? It sounds good. And I mess around and buy the product from what I heard on the information because I fell for the hype, right? I believe the hype.
Okay.
So when I get it home,
so the 55%,
I know it's no good.
So the 55% fell for the hype.
They fell for the hype because they thought it was a good product. Because he was like that, he was going to drain the swamp. He wasn't a politician. You know what I mean? That he was going to come in, and they used to love him on The Apprentice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they did see the video where he said he grabbed him by the pee. You know what I mean? They did know about all those allegations, but maybe they didn't hear that part because they were watching TV at 3:00 in the morning. Only saw the infomercial talking about all the good stuff and didn't read the reviews. Okay? Mm-hmm. But now you know.
Well,
you can buy that again because I'm not buying that product again that I bought at 3:00 in the morning. And once I brought it home, it was no good. I'm not gonna buy it again.
Well, I'm not gonna be that
gracious.
No, I'm not gonna be that gracious. I have no grace. No grace. 55% of white women decided that 2016 was the time for them to choose.
Oh, but maybe they did it because he made their husbands happy, and they probably had a little bit of peace in their house.
Oh, well, your husbands, you can thank them now, because now you don't have a choice to do anything with your body but whatever the hell the man tells you to do.
But men are getting vasectomies now.
Girl, please.
They're like, I ain't trying to get nobody pregnant. I got so many girlfriends.
Vasectomy is not the issue. And if they're doing it,
that's part of the issue. If he has a vasectomy,
I'm pretty sure they're pretty sure the ones who are getting vasectomies are the ones who are whores. So they want to make sure they don't make no accident.
I ain't call nobody no name, but he just trying to say, like, okay, the mistress and the girlfriend and her sister can't get pregnant. Because the law is going to make them have all these babies, and I'm going to be all the way busted.
And I'm that type of man that I do not like to use protection.
I don't need all that drama. I'm trying to keep my wife.
I want to be in there for free. I want to be in there free and clear.
I want to keep my happy home. I'm going to be in these. I don't need no evidence of my discretions in these streets.
So
I knew someone who was married for a long time, right? And she knew her husband was kind of stepping out. But when he had a whole baby, that's when she left. Because she was like, you gonna have a whole baby out there, bro. That's proof of like your infidelity. When it's like, maybe, some people can choose to ignore. You can't ignore no whole baby now.
So, but still, to me, like you getting the high numbers of vasectomies is one that you're
because that man's like, I didn't need if these chicks.
But then it gives them the permission to go out there and cheat and do what they want to do now, because now there won't be no.
Ain't nobody said they got permission. They just not gonna put nobody in no situation where they gotta have a baby that one of them may not want.
I'm not about it. What I'm about is people having their own choices. Because let me tell you, I am pro-choice because I am pro-life. That's why I'm pro-choice. And I want every woman, even if I don't agree or that's not what I'm thinking, that has nothing to do with the other woman on the other side of town saying, you know what, this ain't gonna work for me. I don't think any woman, and my thing is that if you're not gonna regulate men, why are you regulating women? I'm confused. You regulate the men too. I think at the time of conception, men need to be paying child support. The time that the time that 6 weeks in.
Well, that one night stands don't ain't nobody be trying to be no family.
Not my problem.
I wasn't trying to have no family.
Not my problem. That's not my problem. That's what they telling that's what they telling women, right? Oh, but
right now, y'all, hey, get out them streets, y'all.
You get pregnant or whatever, and your state says you can't have an abortion at all. They be like, well, I'm not ready to be that's not my problem.
Well, get out them streets. I guess they want y'all to be abstinent, celibate, whatever the word is. Pick one.
Basically, the law is saying that is not their problem. So if that's the case, then a man should be responsible the minute conception starts. He needs to start paying me some money every month until that baby's born, and then that increment money comes up when the child is born and out of my body.
Right, it's a baby from day one, so
you need to start paying me
from day one too, huh?
I want my money. So, ladies, if you're in a state that doesn't allow that or whatever, flip the script.
Go file that child support case while you pregnant. I love it. I want y'all to do it.
File that child
support. Gonna be like, what? It's a baby, ain't it?
I got to do prenatal things. No, I got to go to the doctor's office every time I go. I got to go once a month. I need gas.
You pregnant, go file that child support case. Do it. I want to see how it turns out.
The day of conception, honey. You need to be responsible.
Please, ladies, do it. Please do it. Please. Please do it.
Child support papers.
Day one.
Go file your child. Day
one. Be like, oop, I'm pregnant.
Money. I want my money. If I got to be my body got to change and I got to go through all these changes, guess what? You're gonna have to pay for it.
So Mr. Brown says marry before you carry. He got a valid point.
Hey, that works too. But I'm just saying, if you're not trying to set up house with me and I get knocked up, guess what? You're gonna have to pay me.
This is a baby from day one.
According to the law, that's what it is. So pay me my coins, and I want.
The money's not for you; it's for the baby. That's why those guys don't want to pay child support, because they be like, she gonna be out here getting her nails done instead of taking care of the kids.
No.
The money's for the children, not the mother.
You pay me. You don't dictate how it goes.
You do. The law is that the money is for the children. It's not for.
And if I'm pregnant and I have to eat, you're gonna dictate how I buy the food to eat.
Well, I mean, that's because you eat because you're eating for two. So yes, you do get to eat. But your nails getting done ain't got nothing to do with that baby.
I can get a psychologist and say that I have to do things to make myself happy because
but that's the part where you're supposed to go to work and get that money yourself.
No. So what's going to happen is I need a very creative pregnant mama to go in and really kind of make sure that whatever you do, you set precedence, sis, and then create
nail money, hair money, all that stuff too.
Because this all affects my mood and how I carry the baby.
Pay for my yoga classes.
Listen,
my Reiki.
And I need to get therapy to prepare myself to become a mother because
I got to get reflexology because my feet about to swell up. That's part of the treatment.
Yeah. Well, okay. And Mr. Brown says there are 23 forms of conception. Well, you know what? Those 23 forms of conceptions are up for the chopping block too.
And most of them women got to take them.
Yep.
It's if it's 23, most of them is for some woman to take and introduce hormones or whatever into her body.
Yep. But just so you know that those things are on the chopping block as well because they are coming.
Yeah. It's 23 forms. And pregnancy shouldn't only be the woman's responsibility. Is what I'm gonna say.
I agree.
It shouldn't only be the woman's responsibility.
Honey, it takes two to
Men need to protect their sperm too.
I agree. And if a man really don't want to have a baby, trust me, he's not gonna have one.
And if he shouldn't be taking no chances with his sperm with somebody he don't want to have no baby with or no future with.
That's what I'm saying.
So the men need to protect their sperm too.
This is a thank you, ma'am. Flat thank you, ma'am. Then you know what you need to do. Because if you're not trying to have no baby with nobody, listen, let me tell you something. Men make sure they do what they need to do, okay? Because if they don't want no babies, they're gonna make sure they don't get no babies. So let's not play that game.
Well, so I've dealt with enough family law cases that ain't necessarily always the case. Some women are slick.
Oh no, I get no. Well, okay, so then we're coming on the women now because the men will do the best they can not to have one. But
yeah. Some of them they're not reckless with it. They're not reckless with their stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Men don't try to be reckless with it, but women, on the other hand,
some men are reckless. Some men are reckless.
Well, I guess when you're in the
ones with the 6, 7, 8 baby mamas, that's reckless.
Well,
Well, I mean, maybe Nick Cannon's not reckless because he could afford to have all them baby mamas, and they're agreeing to do this. So maybe that's not necessarily reckless. But the dude who like cut grass but don't have a lawn service. He may be a little reckless if he got 8 baby mamas.
Not cut grass and don't have a lawn service.
Listen, you cutting grass and you ain't got no lawn service, bro. And you out here with 8 baby mamas. I don't know. That might be a little reckless.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the ones who.
Because I done seen one come to child support talking about he make $100 a week.
Now the question becomes: does he really make $100 a week? That's the question.
Well, that's all. That was his testimony, and he swore to tell the truth and nothing but when he raised his right hand. So I'm gonna have to go with what he said.
Anyway, 55%. Sandra wants to give you guys a pat on the back and said it was an social.
No. I didn't give y'all no pat on the back. I'm just telling y'all need to learn from y'all mistakes and don't make it again. That's what I said.
You women are now faced with the starch task of fighting back and getting your rights back as women to make a decision for your own body. So I suggest that you make sure that you watch each and every candidate as we go through this midterm election, and vote your conscience. Don't vote because your husband said.
So Mr. Brown is saying 20% of women are having babies from men that already have children. That's right, because I'm baby mama number 3. We sure is. I was a wife too. I was married. Well,
but there's a difference. There's a difference in your situation. You were a wife.
I was a wife, but I was still baby mama number 3.
You were the other chick. You was the wife. Okay,
I was a wife, but I was still baby mama number 3.
It doesn't matter. You was the wife, so you're the wife with the kids. The other people weren't married; they were just
okay, so I was baby mama number 3 and wife number 2. I was the second wife, and well, not second wife in a serial relationship, but I was the wife number 2.
You went in with your eyes open. You went in with your eyes open.
Yes. So he said I get a pass because I was a wife. Okay.
Oh wait, so Mr. Brown, the ones who ain't wives don't get passes,
especially if they already have a wife.
Hey,
especially the dude already got a wife, and then you out here having this baby. Hey, he's like, I'm not sympathetic.
For the people, the legislation. He said no. For the legislators in Washington who really pushed to make sure that Roe v. Wade wasn't codified or anything like that or whatever.
So listen now. So this is one of the reasons why we're having this conversation, is because if we really get this number over 50 with Democrats in the Senate, that can happen, okay? Because we're supposed to be 50-50, but we kind of really 48-52, even though that's 50 Democrats in the Senate. Right. So if we truly can get this number over 50, Val Demings is a Democratic senatorial candidate from the state of Florida. Get her in. I think that's Booker out of Kentucky that's running against Rand Paul.
Yes.
So he's running out of Kentucky. So we can get these, and then Raphael Warnock in Georgia is running against Herschel Walker. That should be an absolute no-brainer to me, but apparently, like, there's a possibility that Herschel Walker can actually win. Okay. So Raphael Warnock out of Georgia, Val Demings out of Florida. I think his name is like Charles Booker or something like that out of Tennessee. Kentucky. That's where Kentucky. He's running against Rand Paul. So please get those folks elected, send them $5, whatever, spread their name through social media, let people know that we can get over 50 in the Senate, and then there's the chances of these things happening are more real. They're more real that they can happen, because we'll continue to have the majority leader will be a Democrat, and there can be movement on this legislation. And also think about the U.S. reps also, because we had a majority, but that number is slowly going down. So Sheffield McCormick, there's people running against her, but she's the incumbent in the District 20 race. So send her back. There's
quite a few up for election this election.
So we got to send them all back, and we need to get the Democrats in the Senate, and so there can be movement on the voting rights bill, the George Floyd criminal justice reform, and
not only get them in thing or whatever, but we as constituents need to be more demanding of the Democratic Party to do what's right for people overall. Because to me,
yes, we do need to be more demanding. But our since we're like 4 months away. We need to get those folks elected, because and I know a lot of people are like, I'm sick of them, blah, 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 blah. However, we know what's happening right now is no bueno. Okay. It's no bueno. You've already tried it. It ain't no good. Don't keep making this same mistake. You already know. Like I'm saying, every time that we'll use these relationship examples, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying I ain't gonna get played again. I'm just not gonna get played by the same person, okay? Because they're ready to show me who they are. So please, folks, please, thank you, Mr. Brown, for supporting Val Demings. Thank you so much. Any law by Congress will be challenged and become unconstitutional with Roe being reversed. Yeah, but if they codify it, let them have fun with that. Go ahead. Because one of the things they're saying, the court is saying is like, that's for that, because what they did was like, they didn't get rid of Roe in that sense. They sent it back to the states.
Yes.
And so if it's codified, if it becomes a law by Congress, states cannot do more than what federal law says. So that's what happened. So they didn't necessarily reverse it. They basically said, okay, leave it up to the states so they can decide what they want to do about it. That's why some states are like, hey, come do whatever across state lines and come get your abortion. And other states are no from the minute of conception. So the Supreme Court basically sent it back to the states to make a decision. Now, if it's federal law, the states can't do more than the federal law has in place. So that's why it's important
to codify
for us to get the numbers in the Senate.
And for the senators who feel like they don't want to codify and they're not trying to vote to codify, I hope your side women get pregnant.
Yeah, somebody posted that earlier today. I was like, woo!
What's her name again? Who posted it?
Swagoo
posted it. Stephanie said, I hope your side babies, your side chicks get pregnant. And they can't get
your husband's mistress.
your husband's mistresses, and I hope they do. Would appreciate it.
Lord.
And the mistresses, y'all keep y'all babies, okay, girls? Because y'all gonna go ahead and make sure he get, again, if you can file that lawsuit that he owes you money from the time of conception.
So I remember when they were trying to impeach, they did impeach Bill Clinton, they did, right? Yeah. But then they were trying, so it went to the Senate and they were trying to remove him from office, right? And Larry Flint, y'all know who Larry Flint is? Oh, Hustler magazine. He was like, "Oh, this what y'all doing?" The dude put out an ad and says, "Any woman that had a relationship with any of the senator, I'm gonna pay you to come holler at me." He put an ad out there. Yo, the hearings was over in 2 days.
Sure was.
It was over in 2 days because it turned out that the person who was running the hearing, he had a whole mistress and all of that kind of stuff. And then he's like, "This is a family matter, and I want to deal with it in private." They're like, "Oh,
really? Is it a family matter, though? Is it a family matter? Because you have somebody outside."
So let me tell you. So all these senator mistresses. You see what they try to do to y'all.
Y'all stop using protection with your.
Go ahead out there and do some interviews with these networks and let them know.
With your boo.
Expose the hypocrisy.
Don't take your contraceptions, ladies.
Well, I ain't telling nobody to do that. I'm just saying expose the hypocrisy. That's all.
I'm saying
they're out here making laws knowing that they don't want to. Sorry, go ahead.
That he has to be, responsible for the time of conception. That's all. Just
remember we had a presidential candidate that was running and had his wife had cancer. What was his name? Oh my God, I can't remember. Elizabeth. His wife name was Elizabeth. Oh my God, he was actually a Democratic candidate out here on election poll, all that, and had a whole pregnant mistress.
Oh, what's his name again? Oh yes, I remember.
That's when John Kerry was John Edwards. Yeah, because his wife was Elizabeth Edwards. Yeah, John Edwards out here on the campaign trail.
Side baby,
his wife battling cancer, and he was out here in these
side baby and all.
She had that baby too, and then he was trying to say it ain't his baby, and then they put the baby picture out there. I was like, yeah, "You the daddy. We don't know if she the mama, but you the daddy, sir." So. Because that baby ain't look nothing like her, but it looked like him. So yeah.
All right. So you senators, y'all need to.
Y'all better be careful. Be careful what y'all ask for. Is all I'm gonna say.
That's all I'm saying.
But we don't held the people up enough. But yeah.
All right. So listen, next week we were done interviewing everybody, but we did get someone else that we spoke to. So she is what's Gitel's last name?
Ruiz, Nicola Ruiz or Ruiz Nicola?
Yes.
I think it's Nicola Ruiz.
Will be coming. She's running for commission, Broward County Commission. I can't remember if it's seat 8. Is it seat 8?
It's either 8 or 9, one of them.
Either 8 or 9. We'll have her next week at 4:30. So we'll be a little bit early next week. And
on time because she has a tight schedule. She's campaigning, so I gotta be real respectful of her time.
We're gonna.
Not that I'm not of all the others, but I really got.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna interview her, hear about what she's planning and what her thoughts are for Broward County, and then we'll be back to our regular yabbering program talking about these legislations. We need to make you sure that people. We're gonna go through some of it because there's 150, but I think we need to go through some of them so you all can understand how that affects you. I'll be taking some notes and key things to mention about these legislation and what you need to do to either protect yourself.
Oh, what you need to do is vote blue. That's what you need to do.
All day. Listen, we have the very last day to vote for the primary is August 23rd. You have 2 weeks prior to that for
I think early voting starts on the 13th
of August, and you can go anywhere.
You have to register to vote by the 25th, I think, of July. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can request your vote by mail ballots now.
Check your status. Make sure that you all are eligible to vote. Jump on that now today. Don't wait. Don't waste no time. Also, if you have if you request your mail-in ballot, that helps too if you want to do that. And during the 2-week period of early voting, you can go any voting site.
I don't think it's 2 weeks this time.
It's only about what, 7-8 days?
It's like 10 days or something like that. Or it's probably like 10 days. 10 days. Maybe not even,
I think 10 days is a good enough time for you to go to any polling place to drop off your ballot and or vote. And then on the 23rd is your last day. You got to go to your polling place.
Yep.
You find out who that is. things
on
have changed.
BrowardSOE.org.
Yep, BrowardSOE.org. Things have changed, so it's important that you all check to see where your voting sites have been are now, because with redistricting, some polling sites have changed. So just make sure you do that. Listen, vote blue all the way, and then y'all need to be present.
Y'all need to vote. Like, don't think it doesn't matter. It does. It matters. Elections have consequences. Elections matter. Your vote does matter. And the people who say that, they're the ones who allow folks who aren't doing anything to continue to get reelected and stay in their seats, right?
Yeah.
So it does matter. You can vote and get these people out. And so this midterm, there was like a whole bunch of folks that were running unopposed, and that should not happen. That absolutely should not happen, particularly if the person wasn't doing a good job. Right? Democrats, whoever, should not be afraid to run against them, because I think it was like 50 seats throughout the state. They managed to get candidates in some of them, but it started off right before with qualification for them to get qualified. Yeah. There were like 50 seats of Republicans that was running unopposed. And we saw the nonsense that they did, in Tallahassee this session, and that just shouldn't happen. So we really need to go out and vote, organize, get ourselves together, and the people who are not good at their job, they should not be able to keep them.
Absolutely not. We just found out there is an opponent for District 4 school board seat.
Yeah. Kimberly Coward is running.
We're very excited about that, because we do not believe anybody should be running unopposed.
Not at all. And her website is Coward for Broward. COWARD 4 Broward. BROWARD.
Go check her out. She is on Facebook. Reach out, donate.
Her website is up.
And go support, because we do want, if you have any history of what's going on in the school board, we need new, fresh faces. Incumbents should not be still.
Oh yeah, we need some fresh faces. There's a whole lot of nonsense happening over there, y'all.
We need fresh faces. We need
faces. When people who are going to hold the superintendent accountable,
right,
for what she's doing.
Yeah, because there needs to be some checks and balances, and currently there are none. Nope. So, and I mean what I say, there are none. I said what I said. So we need new faces. If we can get rid of all 9 people, we would. But
there's only 6 seats that are up.
Only 6 seats that are up. So the 6 seats, I'm like basically begging, get rid of those people. Let's start off fresh.
But be careful who you replace them with, because there's some of those candidates that you don't want that either.
No bueno. We interviewed quite a bit. If you want to go back onto and look at some of our videos, we interviewed quite a bit of the school board candidates. Some have.
There's an at-large. Somebody's doing the at-large meeting. They started it today at 6:30.
Okay.
I can't remember. I can't see who it is, but I have a link on Facebook Live that somebody is
Take
doing.
Care, Mr. Brown. Appreciate you.
Yeah, somebody's doing the at-large candidates tonight on Facebook.
There are some of the interviews we've done. Some of those people have since removed themselves and not running anymore, but still go look into that.
That's only a few people.
Yeah,
that's in Group 6, Moreno in Group 6, and who else? I think he was only one.
And then one commissioner decided that she was going to move to something else.
Oh, D'Amica Davis. Yeah. So she pushed hers off to 24.
24, yeah. So go check those out, check those videos out, and then go on BrowardSOE.org, and you can see who the candidates that have been announced. There are also some judges that are running. So listen, judges make a big difference. The representation matters, honey.
Yeah, look them up. See what people say about them. Google their names and see what kind of articles come up. And then and if there are some if you know any attorney or people that work in the courthouse, ask them about those judges. Ask them about those judges.
See what they're saying, because listen, the judge that's doing the MSD trial or whatever, I don't even know how she
ain't ready. She was not ready for that case. That case is too much for her. And I would not be surprised if that case come back on appeal.
I'm just saying. It is what it is. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week on Wednesday at 4:30 time. 4:30. All right.
Nicolau Ruiz
for district either 8 or 9 in Broward County.
County Commission.
I think it's one. I want to say it's 8. All right. See y'all.
I ain't gonna say because I don't know. I don't remember.